I'm the mobility coordinator for the City of Long Beach. I'm proud to be here tonight talking about what's going on related to this initiative to become one of the best bike cities in the nation. 3 years ago, the City Council directed the staff to take a look at the opportunities to maximize our resources and to focus on grants from state and local government that would be in addition to what we're already doing, but would be available for bicycle facilities. And they put Sumi Gant, one of the people in the Public Works Department, on that assignment. In the first 2 years of that, she raised some $12 million that brought in money to do bicycle education, to do training for police officers and for bus operators, and to do various projects that I'll talk about in a moment. The Green Lane being one of those very inexpensive ones. And it perked people's interest because they saw that not only could we get funding for these projects, specialized money to be going to bicycle and pedestrian facilities, but that this could be a way for us to really get back to the DNA of what Long Beach is about, and that is it's a beach town. And most people see it as a local place, want it to function as a local place, want this to be a thriving, healthy retail district, and a place where you have a choice about how you get there. If you don't want to come here and deal with parking, sometimes bicycling is the smarter way to do it. And so they saw that they could get more customers into a place such as this by walking and bicycling versus adding more parking spaces or running up against neighbors that don't want any more parking spaces. So it has proven to be a pretty good decision, apparently, that the council made. They brought me in about a year ago to help with some of these innovations that are going on. And I'm proud to say that among one of the biggest surprises is the Green Lane here on 2nd Street. That project is a national pilot project in response to the Belmont Shore Business Association asking us for ways that we might reduce the conflicts between bicyclists and pedestrians on the sidewalk. And in fact, from what I'm told, the biggest complaint or the biggest response that the fire department was responding to were bicyclists hitting pedestrians on the sidewalk on 2nd Street. And so the association was looking for an answer to that problem. They talked to Sumi Gant. Sumi had recently heard about a pilot project putting green paint down to distinguish where bicyclists are supposed to be in a shared lane in a retail district similar to this, and from Andrea White, who runs the bike station and lives over here on 1st Street. Andrea gave that information to Sumi. Sumi researched it. She put that in the hands of our engineering team, and they came back and said, yeah, that might be a good fit, a good suggestion, or a good way to test whether we can influence bicyclist behavior by design or by engineering. And so we went through the process to get a pilot project initiated with the Federal Highway Administration, and under the engineering rules, we came out and painted that green stripe. And then later we put up some signs, and we have been monitoring it. We did bike counts about where bicyclists are, both on the sidewalk and in the door zone where the door opens up, and if you're a bicyclist, you hit it. And that's one of the reasons why we discourage people from riding in the door zone, and we have numbers about the lane itself. We counted before, we counted about 4 months in, and then we counted just last month, and I have the results of those counts that I want to share with you in a moment. It's exciting news. It's exciting news because we have reduced the number of car-bike crashes. It's a relatively small and insignificant number, therefore I wouldn't draw big conclusions from that. But from the year before, we had some 38 car crashes overall. We had 6 of those being car-bike crashes. In the year that we had, and this is looking 8 months into the year. This year with the Green Lane, at the same time period, we had 3 car-bike crashes. And I can tell you that all 3 of those car-bike crashes were caused by stupid bicyclist moves. One of them was a distracted bicyclist that ran into the back of a car that was trying to parallel park in front of Jones Bikes. Another one was a rider, a fixie bike rider that ran a red light and hit the side of a car. And the third one was a drunk bicyclist. And so I don't have the year-end numbers, but that's what I know 8 months into the program. And at that same time period, we'd had 6 the year before. So those are small numbers. It's hard to draw conclusions from that small sample, but that's where the accidents statistics take us. But let me tell you even more dramatic information about what's happened out there since we painted that green lane. Before any paint was put down, we had 414 bicyclists a day using this corridor. And by using that, we simply put somebody out for 3 days over here at Chase Bank, and everybody that came through that block is counted. This doesn't count anybody that came to Polly's from over here and never crossed the middle line, or the same on the other end. We had 414 a day. In 1 year, now we're averaging 800 a day bicyclists using 2nd Street and that are crossing that middle mark. My guess is, anecdotally, if we counted everybody, that would be closer to 1,000 a day. The number of cyclists on the sidewalk, before we did anything, 42% of bicyclists were on the sidewalk here. That has dropped in half. Now we've doubled the numbers, but we have 21% of bicyclists still using the sidewalk, and we'll talk about ways to deal with that if you'd like. Cyclists using the door zone, before they were 48%, that number has dropped to 36%, but that's a quarter, 25% reduction in the number of people in the door zone. The most dramatic thing that happened by putting that paint down, and that paint cost us $10,000 by the way, and our crew put it down. Both coats. We went down one coat and then we freshened it a year in. Before we put that paint down, only 12% of cyclists in this corridor were using the street. With the paint down, 39% are using the street. That's a 300% increase in the number of people who are riding bikes in the safe place on this street, and that may have something to do with the fact that our statistics are proving that it may be safer. We're not having this. I don't have any hard numbers about bicyclists still hitting pedestrians on the sidewalk. It's still happening, and I'm interested in hearing from merchants that may have a different point of view. But apparently putting that green paint down is articulating right use. And we have about 39–40% now are using that correctly. And we have a very relatively static or small number still on the sidewalk. But the statistics are moving us in the right direction. We're seeing that this is an invitation for bicyclists to be customers in this district. We're seeing an indication that it's a relatively safe condition. Every other business district in town is interested in having this, because what it's saying is we invite you in, and this is a place that we want to function more like a parking lot than a high-speed thoroughfare. And that's by design what you've created here. When you put 15 traffic signals in a 17-block area, you've created a progression speed that even a fat middle-aged guy like me can run faster than a platoon of cars from end to end, because I've done it twice. And so you've set up a condition where it's functioning like a healthy retail district should, where you come in and park and it's not a death-defying feat to get across the street, and the cars aren't moving so fast that it's an ugly place to sit along the street and enjoy a cup of coffee. That's why it's a healthy district. What we see happening with the bicycles is that we've made a more attractive place for people to ride their bike to Belmont Shore versus driving. My guess is that 100% increase in the number of riders are virtually all local. Those are locals that are seeing that they're invited to Belmont Shore by bike now, and in fact that's what they're doing.